Fantasy football's upon us, and if you got a draft coming up, this video is just for you. Today we're going to be going over some late round sleepers at wide receiver and running back you need to keep an eye out for. I'm going to start my list here at running back with Michael Carter from the Jets. Now, Ty Johnson is currently number 1 on the depth chart, but the rookie's more fit for the scheme the Jets try to run. That's why they drafted him so high. It's only a matter of time before he gets a starting job in what looks to be a run-heavy offense. Michael Carter isn't an elite talent. He doesn't have breakaway speed, but he is very elusive, good power for his size. He consistently gets big chunks of yards. He also can catch out the backfield, which is pretty big for PPR leagues. And I get it. Historically, the Jets' offense has been irrelevant in fantasy in recent years. But it's a different offense. It's got better weapons now, as well as a shiny new rookie quarterback. Who knows how far Zach Wilson could take this team? So, considering how late you get Michael Carter, the upside might just be worth it. Next, we got David Johnson, who's coming off a 700-yard, 8-touchdown season. We'll likely never see 2016 DJ ever again, but if he stays on the Texans, he's got a decent floor for the late-round pick he goes at. Now, notice how he said, if he stays on the Texans, because in Houston, we got a problem. The team's franchise quarterback will soon be on the move, and they'll likely trade away veteran pieces to start rebuilding. Injuries happen all the time, and if a playoff team's running back one goes down, they might be in the market to go after DJ. And the Texans will probably be willing to take any draft capital they could get for him, and if this happens, DJ could end up in a better situation, right in time for your playoff push. So the way I see it, it's a low-risk, high-reward type pick here. Next, I'm going to have to go with Darrell Williams. Now, you have to keep an eye out for Darrell Williams because Williams is one Clyde Edwards-Helaire injury away from putting up running back 1 numbers on a weekly basis. There's no other backup running back in a better position in the event the starting running back goes down. If Williams gets the opportunity, Mahomes and the Chiefs offense will give him plenty of opportunities in the end zone. If you drafted Edwards-Helaire, make sure you handcuff him with Williams. And if you didn't draft Edwards-Helaire, then Darrell Williams might be a very valuable trade asset for that Edwards-Helaire owner. Or you can just hold on to Williams and just hope it pays off later in the season. But just overall, there's a lot of upside for a guy this late into the draft. Now I'm going to move it over to the wide receivers here. I'm going to get it popping with Brandon Cooks. He's coming off his 5th 1,000-yard season in his 7-year career. Cooks is extremely underrated. His draft stock seems to be heavily deflated from all the Deshaun Watson trade rumors. I find it unlikely that Watson gets traded this season, but even if he does, the Texans will likely be playing from behind with Tyrod Taylor or Davis Mills, which means garbage time points all day for Cooks. There's also the possibility he gets traded, and if that does happen, it's probably going to be with a playoff team that needs just one wide receiver away from being contenders, and in that case, I think he'd be in a good position. Now I'm going to move it over to Kenny Golladay. Now he's got a slight hamstring issue, but the team doesn't seem to be all that concerned. I believe he's supposed to start week 1. And trust me, Daniel Jones is no Matthew Stafford, which is why Galladay's stock has fallen since this last year. But he's still clear-cut wide receiver 1 on the Giants, and you're not really going to find many wide receiver 1s this far into the draft. And if Daniel Jones ends up taking a leap this year, Golladay only stands to benefit from it. If Daniel Jones doesn't improve, then they'll likely play from behind, and who knows, Golladay might benefit from garbage time points. Now I want to move it over to my favorite late-round wide receiver, which is going to be Jalen Waddle. Now, what Tua lacked in his rookie season was a pass catcher to have confidence in. Last year, he was 37 out of 71 when targeting Parker. That's like 50%. The two guys don't have any chemistry together. And they also picked up Will Fuller, and they have yet to build chemistry together either. Now, Jalen Waddle, on the other hand, him and Tua have chemistry dating back into Bama, which is why Dolphins were aggressive getting Tua his guy that he's got confidence in. You see, Parker and Fuller are more established NFL talents, but I trust Waddle over both of them because Tua will likely trust Waddle over both of them. Now joining us today is NFL analyst as well as our fantasy football league winner last year, Jared Starr. Now, who's some late round picks that you got an eye on?
Yeah, this is my favorite part of the year. We're diving into fantasy. You should be doing your draft this week, and let's dive into some sleepers. Round 10 and beyond, right around there. Like, let's face it, wide receivers and running backs. That's the meat of our show. Partner kind of went into his, and here are my top 3 wide receivers. Is where we're going to start. So. Number 1's going to surprise some people here. Offense was a little talked about during preseason, but hey, that's preseason. Trevor Lawrence in the Jags. He's going to have one heck of a season. His target that you should keep an eye out for is DJ Chark. People forget DJ Chark was, I believe he was the fastest receiver in his draft class. Definitely was the most productive receiver in the deep ball with Gardner Minshew. So let's just imagine what's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence, the prodigy, who has an amazing deep ball, arguably the best deep ball of the class of rookies this year. So look for DJ Chark there. He's going to be available there. I believe past round 10. He's gonna be there for most of you. Number 2, we're going to the Chiefs offense right here, baby. People think Travis Kelce. They think Tyreek Hill. They think the running backs. McCole Hardman is a value receiver. Okay, let's face it. They lost Sammy Watkins. A lot of people are overlooking this information. So if you really look at that depth chart, McCole Hardman is the number 2 receiver. A lot of value there. We're talking Mahomes 35 to 50 targets a game, 50 on the high end on those shootouts. There's gonna be some deep ball touchdowns as McCole Hardman is just a notch under Tyreek Hill's speed. So really good value there. And my final wide receiver pick, we're gonna go to the Indianapolis Colts with Frank Wright's offense there. Really good stuff here because if you really look at injuries right now, T.Y. Hilton is going to be injured, and there's no timetable for his return right now. Reports are mentioning somewhere, but I think it's a foot injury, if I'm not mistaken. Reports are mentioning anywhere from 5 to like 7 weeks, roughly. Again, there's not really an actual timetable right now for that, so that's going to force Michael Pittman will be the number 1 target. They don't have some crazy playmaking tight end. So look for Michael Pittman. That's going to be a steal if you need a good bench receiver. Maybe even you need a good plug-in for your flex. He could be your number 3. Moving on to the running backs. Let's face it, this is where it gets dicey right now because if you do mocks or you know your stuff with fantasy, you know there's a drop with the running backs much earlier than the wide receivers. So let's dive in. We'll go with the Vegas Raiders here. Great running game. I think they were one of the top 5 run games last year. Last couple years, they really have produced well. Great O-line. And we all know that produces well. Tony Pollard produced behind Zeke, who got all the carries because of a good O-line. And no one knew his name before that. So Kenyon Drake is actually a no name. He's speed. He's a great third down back. He's going to get some touches. He's going to get some screens from Derek Carr. With those lack of receivers they have, those backs are going to get used, which includes Kenyon Drake. So I really like that pick if you need a good late value running back. Let's move along to Super Bowl champs. High producing offense here. Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay. Let's face it, their passing game is their primo, but people forget they run the ball in order to get those play action balls here. So you got to really like Ronald Jones Jr. If you look at last year's stats, he had over 900 rushing yards with inclusion of 2 other backs, which includes Leonard Fournette. Reports Leonard Fournette may get some more access to the offense, but let's face it, Ronald Jones Jr. is the number 1 back there. So that's a really good value pick, being that he is the go-to guy in the backfield. And if you have to go with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones is gone, like I said, he's going to get more access to the offense this year. Bruce Arians trusts Fournette more right now. So either one, but go for Ronald Jones Jr. if you can. The second, excuse me. All right, my final pick and the sneakiest pick, I think, of these running backs. One of the most predicted breakout offenses of the year will be the Miami Dolphins offense. So yeah, let's face it. They have right now they have a collection, a running back by committee situation, if you will. And so that's going to include Myles Gaskins as a starter. That's not my pick here. Savine Ahmed, looks like Ahmed, pronounced Ahmed. Look, he almost took over the starting role last year. Gaskins kind of was inconsistent, a little injury. In comes Ahmed, burst, physical running, just through the holes a little better than Gaskins. And I predict he's actually going to take over that running back role. It's going to be committee until someone has a hot hand. So steal Ahmed if you can. If Gaskins is gone, maybe pair them both. but Ahmed, I think, is going to take over the role. Will definitely be used in that Miami Dolphins run game offense this year.
Thanks for watching. For more premium content, subscribe to The Zone.